Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday night's Toon Review, and it is the Newcastle United news show, of course. I am joined tonight. My name is Paul, and I'm with Alex and Sam. If anybody has seen Billy by any chance, give him a shout. I think it may have been that he's just decided to watch the Olympics, and his watching the Olympics has turned into a few Zs, as tends to do with Billy Bob. But we'll see if he turns up. However, thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. Welcome to the show. As usual, do enjoy it. Please hit the thumbs up. And of course, if you're new to the channel, come and subscribe. We have a load of new subscribers again. So thank you very much and welcome to everybody. And hit that button. It's free to do so, of course, to become a subscriber. And make sure that you hit the bell so you never miss an uploaded video, as I did earlier on today. And of course, never miss a live show. You can support the channel in two ways. The first one is by getting a membership, which is the join button just underneath us. And of course, the other one is, of course, Super Chat, which is the $ at the bottom of the live comments, which will also guarantee your comments to be read out live on this show. Good evening, Lady Sam and Alex.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hey there.
I mean, Alex, that couldn't have been a more enthusiastic hello than I've ever heard. Hello. I mean, that's like a late night radio host there.
Manchester United have dampened my mood, as I'm sure they have many.
Yes, we're going to start with that because I think Carl, we'll come on to that as well. Keith Downey putting certain in the nose down on Twitter. Yes, he has. He tends to do it on a regular basis, which is really funny. However, let's start off with Manchester United, shall we? Because I think those of you that don't know why Alex, Sam, and myself are a bit pissed off is the news broke regarding Manchester United's little way of getting past PSR. The fact is they weren't going to make it. They weren't going to do it. And then, of course, they were granted a little bit of a cushion to get them over the line. Alex, I'll let you explain in more detail why you're pissed off and why this is, again, just showing how corrupt the Premier League are and why, again, there is no doubt that there is a cartel in the Premier League.
Right. So,
steak emojis, guys. Steak emojis in the chat. He's going for it.
So this was an interview between Jim White, Darragh McAntony, and Troy Deeney. And I believe it's Darragh McAntony speaking. And he's referencing real accounts. He references the fact that because they're owned by people in the US, Manchester United, they publish a lot of accounts quarterly, or maybe accounts is the wrong word. They publish things of the numbers variety, so we get to see. So it's not hidden, so it's very, very obvious.
Indeed.
And there were two main things to this interview. The first one is that they wrote off, or they asked for it to be ignored, £40 million in 2022 for COVID losses. And Darragh McAntony has stated that no other club has exceeded 1 million in that regard. I haven't verified this. This is just in this interview, and it's kind of saddened me that I haven't researched it any further. But for them to get away with 40 when seemingly, from his comments, nobody's gone over 1 is obscene, is absolutely ridiculous. And then on top of that, they've also apparently gotten away with 35 million in acceptable losses due to the changing of ownership and shares and just things happening that are seemingly quite standard.
It was Stefan Borson, Alex, who was.
It was. Oh, thank you. They didn't reference that on the title of the video, so I just quoted who was in the video. So,
well, I actually listened to it. I should have actually known that. So never mind.
So it was 35 million in reference to obviously Jim Ratcliffe and that whole takeover. Well, I say takeover. It was more buying of shares. It wasn't a complete takeover. So that's 40 and 35 million in 2 separate occasions. And this guy was under the impression that they 100% fell short of PSR had it not been for these 2 interventions. And then obviously the comments were raised, well, Newcastle are having to scramble to sell youth prospects and players on deadline day so that they're not in breach of any rules because they're not getting any free rides. Everton are being, You know, they're basically a microscope on them at all times with points deductions. Fine, they operated poorly financially in the past, but they are just being stung for it. There's no, you know, everybody else seemingly is not allowed to make a mistake. And they didn't reference Forest from what I heard, but of course that's another one.
Forest and Everton have got a good case on the hands here. I think they might be legally looking into this now.
Well, it's just, I mean, I'll wrap my speech up in a minute, but it's just disheartening that clubs are just allowed a free hit. Chelsea, of course, was via loopholes through selling hotels. That's the Premier League's fault. They should have done better, get better lawyers, get better legislation, just do more. You're meant to be the regulation for all of this thing, this entity. And then the Manchester United thing is a different case. It just looks like they've just let them do what they want, which is even worse because it's not like it was something that it wasn't an oversight of a loophole. This was just, yeah, go on then, do what you want, which is even worse because it's an admittance of just helping out a traditionally big club, which is it's just boring. I'm bored of it now. I'm bored of it. We want football to be exciting. We want it to be competitive, but we're just not on an even playing field. It's just boring. It's just really brought my mood down today. I just don't see the point.
Yeah, and I think you're not the only one, Alex. You know, this is just again, it just stinks. The whole thing stinks. Before we get Sam's view on it, Paul Ramos, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for signing up and your support. We'll actually do some member giveaways a little bit later this week in the build up to the Sela Tournament, of course, as well. I mean, Sam, it stinks. There's no other word about it. It absolutely stinks. But again, I mean, not, you know, people are saying in the chat that it has been reported that it would be looked into as, oh yeah, it happened, let's move on.
Yeah, I think that's it. It'll be an investigation policed by the police where we don't actually get to hear the outcome of it, because ultimately, if there has been evidence of corruption, then the whole thing's going to fall down. For me, it hurts because it's the injustice of it. It just feels so fundamentally wrong, especially with, you know, what's happened with Everton and the likes. And it's just really, I hope this strengthens their case, because actually what those clubs are now having to go through at the detriment of the fans as well. You know, it could be anybody's club which is having to go through this. So to think that we are now looking at Manchester United, who have used, you know, have they applied for something different? Is this another exploitation of a loophole to get some additional funding, or did, you know, the Glazers just ring up and take advantage of somewhere? We don't know enough about it.
Well, apparently, Sam, Everton did try and ask for this as well, and they were refused.
I do remember this.
COVID allowance.
I remember they went in quite hard to try and get some extra allowances on COVID.
They were turned down. Now, obviously, that is the only club that we know have done it. There could have been other clubs that I mean, we might have tried. You know, this may all come out in the wash. You know, but at the moment, it's just infuriating, because now it opens up a whole can of worms, especially for Everton and probably Nottingham Forest. You know, and teams that have had points deductions or fines or stuff like that going on prior to this, and it again turns football into through the mud. Yet again, and especially the Premier League, because we all know as fans outside of the cartel who dictates this football, this Premier League. And again, it comes up, it rears its ugly head again, saying, "Oh, this is going on again." Man United have got round it with a loophole, yet other clubs haven't. Simple as that.
And it's the fans who suffer, unfortunately, for Nottingham and Everton. But now it's obviously spilling out into all of the other clubs, because ultimately, if they are getting, you know, a massive payday off the back of COVID, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I really do hope this strengthens the case. I can imagine that it will do if Everton have applied for the same sort of increased funding, because then you could literally do like for like comparisons. If they have rules, if they have benchmarks, if they have a barometer scale of who is entitled to what, that will be documented somewhere, and evidence will have to be provided about why one club was given it and why the other was denied it. So I think it could really help serve a purpose and actually open things up a little bit more. I'd be quite interested to keep a close eye on this, because this could be the corruption case to actually blow this all wide open, which we've been saying for so long, years and years. This could be the turning point. So it actually could be a really positive thing on the horizon for everybody.
I'm not optimistic at all.
No, I'm not, but I'm vomit-inducingly optimistic. So yes, that's what I'm going with.
I do have some breaking surprise news if anybody wants to see something fun.
Well, is it better than the Man U news? Because that would be
Osula signed. Osula signed.
No. It's even more interesting news.
2 seconds, Alex, because Rachel has been a member for 2 years and 1 month. Of course, Rachel has been a mod on this channel for God knows how long. Absolutely incredible lady. She's very close to me and Susan, and we think the world of Rachel. So pure corruption, it's a joke. Marky says he's been a member for 2 months. Love being a Toon fan. Never a boring day. TTR is an awesome family. Thank you very, very much. Come on then, Alex. Hit me.
Well, there's 3 things.
Oh my God. Okay.
Thing number 1 is, this is Downey's tweet.
Yep.
Deal done. Awaiting club announcement for Will Osula. Second interesting piece of news is Matt Ritchie signed for Pompey.
Well, that's very strange, because I did the news show this afternoon and he was heavily linked with Bournemouth, with the return to Bournemouth. So that's come out of the complete blue. And I don't think anybody saw that coming. But well done to Matt Ritchie. I'm pleased he's gone to Portsmouth, actually, because it was... I think he made that plain and simple that he wanted to finish his career there, and he's got the opportunity now. So I'm really chuffed. Yeah,
this is only literally announced by them. What time is it now? They go 9 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago, yeah.
And just an irritating one is here's Chelsea's squad size for the upcoming season.
Well, no, I'm not having it. Look, again, I mean, if that doesn't piss you off, you know, that we have had to sell the likes of Minty and Anderson just to get a grip on this PSR. Then you find out the crap about Manchester United. Chelsea can sell hotels to themselves. Chelsea can sell peanuts to themselves and buy players. Look at the size of that sudden squad. I mean, it is a disgrace.
I think there's a few youth players in there to kind of beef it up.
Don't give a hairy arse, Alex. It's fact that is a disgrace. And football is going down the fucking pan because of these bunch of muppets who think they can run football. It's sickening, man. And we've lost a player like Minty because of PSR, and now these bastards do what they want, man. It's sickening. It's sickening.
They're one centre half short of a bowling pin triangle.
Why?
They can play bowling with their centre half. There's how many is that? 9?
Oh man,
there's 9 centre half.
I mean, Alex, you've just lit the touch paper in my fucking brain, mate. Honestly, like, come on. Is it just me that's infuriated by this, or come on?
It's mad. It's just mad now. It's getting boring. Obviously, Chelsea got this purely based on when they got taken over. They got everything just written off. They got to start again from scratch with PSR, which is nonsense. Why? You know, it's ridiculous. And then on top of that, they just keep selling all their academy products to just buy other people's academy products because of how amortization works. So, and they're giving everyone crazy contracts.
Because all these cartel clubs simply send massive anal beads and dildos in the post for Richard Masters to stick up his fucking rectum. And he loves it. He loves the attention. Bastard. That's what he is. Bastard. I can't stand him. I can't stand the Premier League hierarchy. I can't stand the cartel clubs. And listen, I'll tell you something now, right? I don't like Everton, and people know that. I'm not the biggest fan of Everton, but I genuinely feel for them, and I feel for Nottingham Forest in this instance because of the shit that's gone on with the cartel clubs. And yes, I feel sorry for us selling Minty and Anderson. Of course I do. But this shit cannot go on, and something has got to get done about it. It's as simple as that. But the question is, what gets done? Because these guys run the league.
Yeah, but it's broken. A few comments in there. There's a comment here. Where's it just gone? It shows how important it is to selling academy players in today's world. Yeah, but that's not what it was meant to be. You're not meant to sell your regionally trained player that you've brought through your own region your own academy who potentially has allegiances to your club because they're from the area, you shouldn't have to be selling your academy prospects to then go and buy other people's academy prospects, doing swapsies to hit quotas and make the books balance. That wasn't the intended use of all of these rules. It was so clubs didn't go bust and people didn't get silly. And the rules aren't fit for purpose. People are just using like little workarounds that are very odd. You know, Conor Gallagher going to Atletico Madrid is basically confirmed. I think it is confirmed now. You know, they're all just disappearing. You had a lot of there was a lot of praise for Chelsea when Lampard came in, and he was promoting all of the young Chelsea prospects who loved Chelsea through and through. They've basically all gone now. I think Reece James is probably one of the only ones left.
Up the A1, it's Mrs. Up the A1. They've been a member of the channel for 27 months. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. I'm so annoyed I can't speak, and that's saying something. Yeah, because she can talk, Mrs. Up the A1.
And so can you, Paul. I think everybody's got the popcorn out after that one.
Look, because it's pissed me off, right? It just has.
No, it's bloody fair. It's an awful situation. It's gone from football, from entertainment, from community, from family to actually finance and business, which of course is the hinge and underpins everything, but to the point where it's corrupt, unfair, and it's promoting a game which now isn't involving everybody the way that it should do. And Alex has got a great point there, where people have got loyalties to the clubs when they're academy players. They want to obviously come through the ranks and get into their first team squads, and it's not possible to do so now because we have to have amortization and making money off it. So it really does spoil it for the younger players that are coming through as well. And
let's not forget, these are the twats that wanted to break away to a Super League. And for all I care, is just let them go. I mean, obviously, the fans of those clubs didn't want the Super League. They don't want to leave the Premier League. Fair enough. But the owners do. And in my opinion, just fuck off and go. And let us get on with proper football. Have a proper league with no cartel, where it's run in a professional way, where these idiots don't get, if they don't get what they want, they throw their toys out of the pram and then they get what they want. So we know fine well that if this thing with Manchester United, Alex, is looked into, which by all the reports it's going to happen, it's going to be looked into, and then as usual with the cartel, it'll be swept under the carpet. We know what's going to happen already.
I mean, he's already been caught in interviews talking about and referencing big clubs versus smaller clubs with his Freudian slips. It's no secret. There's a lot more money above his head that runs this game. And I don't want to talk about corruption in the game because I like to think it isn't, because it would. I like to think that it isn't. And I don't really want to elaborate on that. It's like, I will believe in Santa Claus as long as the world will let me. And I stand by that. And anything can still happen in football. Anybody can beat anybody on the day. Even with a dodgy ref or a poor ref, you can't stop 2 or 3 screamers that go in the back of the net. However, when you start getting into a 38-game season and finances get involved, it's just grinding. And it is taking the fun out of the game.
Peter, good evening to you. He says, I'll be buzzing when Tricky Dicky is gone. Can't stand him. To be honest, Peter, I think we know what will happen, though. As soon as Richard Masters goes, the cartel will group together and get their man in again. So they'll make sure that whoever replaces Richard Masters is just a dildo-accepting freak as well, because that is all that happens with the Premier League now. And I really don't know what is going to stop, how it's going to stop, because we've got this for years now. It's just going to keep dragging on and dragging on. The same teams are going to be at the top end of the Premier League. The same teams are going to be punished season after season after season after season, and it'll just continue down a spiral. And I just hope that the Super League comes around now, where these 5 or 6 teams can bugger off and leave us with a really nice football league again, where everything is done properly without these knobs doing what they're doing. Simple as that. I'm sick of it. I really am.
This is why people enjoy the Championship so much.
Yeah. And they look down the EFL, where and a lot of people, go into non-league as well, have it watching non-league, because it's it's back to the grassroots kind of thing. You know, there's no corruption there. It's just blood and thunder, and it's some decent football as well. It's why a lot of fans may turn to the women's game now as well, because it's you don't see any of this in the women's game. And even Man United trying to do what they're doing in the women's game, they've messed it up completely and lost a couple of their best players in the summer. So they're doing things completely wrong. But now, you know, the men's game is just it's just a mud puddle. That's all it is at the minute. James Morrison, thank you for your super chat. Masters is 100% the kind to say thanks, mummy, in bed. Absolutely.
Jesus, has everybody seen an advert for Ann Summers this evening? Paul's gone off about dildos and anal beads, and then I've just heard that. What the hell is going on?
The man's a twat. Good morning, Billy.
Just in time.
Good morning. Yeah, it's coming to anal beads and dildos. Fantastic.
Well, I mean, where have you been?
Oh, don't ask.
Okay.
You know where I've been?
Well, yeah.
If there was an Olympic sport for snoozing, napping, Billy gets the gold.
Yes.
All of those. All of those.
Have you seen all this about Manchester United, Billy, and PSR?
No.
Oh,
God.
Alex, would you like to
do the honours? Do the honours.
So we can get Billy's reaction live. Would you like to update our esteemed colleague on the news that has broken today about Manchester United and PSR?
I mean, we've got about 1,000 more people in than we had when I first said this, so we'll say it again. Why not? Sorry for people that have already heard this once.
Indeed.
So, Billy, there was a show today. It was
Jim White's show on TalkSport, and they had a financial expert on there.
They had a financial expert on with Jim White on TalkSport today, and they were talking about Manchester United and their finances. And they referenced that because they submitted their accounts quarterly in the US, we were privy to a lot of information. It was factual. It's all there. It's been submitted, and they've gotten away with a £40 million COVID write-off, I think we're calling it, for 2022. When the general consensus was all of the other clubs did a maximum of £1 million. Manchester United got a £40 million one accepted. On top of that, there was also £35 million in acceptable losses because of Jim Ratcliffe and the change of shares and ownership and stuff. That is also allowed in that. So that is £75 million. And then this financial expert has confirmed that would, if they didn't have those two things assisting them, they would 100% have failed PSR and would have been seriously in trouble. So the fact that this has come out and has been confirmed is really, really upsetting because of obviously all of the clubs in the Premier League. The fact that they even referenced this on the show, Jim White referenced this. Well, isn't it frustrating for clubs like Newcastle who have had to sell players right at the very end of the window to meet PSR? And you've got Everton with the same sort of situation. And there you go. So that's what we've been talking about until you've joined us.
That is just outrageous, but yeah, I'm not surprised. Given that they write the rules and give their own punishments out, I'm not surprised. Stinking club.
Yeah, but I mean, Everton applied, Billy, to have this as well, and were refused.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Just unbelievable.
It's corruption. If this doesn't prove the cartel are around, nothing else will. I've just gone absolutely ballistic, Billy, because I'm sick of it now, and Alex is sick of it. Sam's sick of it. All football fans are sick of it, to be honest.
I hope Everton take legal action.
Well, that's what we're saying. It opens up loopholes and a can of worms everywhere. Anyway, we've got over 1,800 watching, guys, across YouTube and Twitter. So thank you very much for tuning in. Do please subscribe to the channel if you are new. It is very heart on your sleeve stuff on the Toon Review, as you've already seen tonight, but that's how we've always been, and that's how we will always be. We are very honest, as I say, and wear hearts on the sleeves. Sometimes it may cross the line a little bit, but, you know, it's just pure emotion. As
speaking of crossing the line, do you want Billy to have a look at the Chelsea lineup?
Oh, God. Yeah. Billy, take a look at this, mate. Take a look at the Chelsea squad.
Fucking hell, what they're playing there? What fucking system's that?
I know it's a lot, isn't it? I mean, they've got 9 centre halves there, and God knows how many midfielders. 10 midfielders.
I mean, it's a sudden disgrace, Billy.
And then Conor Gallagher's about to go as well. So is Conor Gallagher out of this? Yeah, Conor Gallagher's actually not included in this.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, again, one of the cartel, aren't they? I mean, I'm just thinking about the Man United stuff. I mean, Jim Ratcliffe, when he came on board, they've had a readjustment. Where was ours when we had a takeover in the past 3 years?
Oh, we wouldn't have got a readjustment.
All we got was articles saying that he'd left us in a healthy financial state and that we weren't in debt. They were praising him.
Yep.
Yeah, no incomings, no kind of.
And then after that, Billy, all we got is no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. It makes me sick.
They actually sat 2 emergency meetings within the first 3 months of the takeover because they were terrified they were going to start pumping money in.
Exactly.
No income.
Ridiculous
contracts on players that were already there. Yeah, come
on. Anyway. Now, Mark Guehi, or Guehi, whatever you want to say. Guehi. Looks like he's about to sign, or the deal should go through. Newcastle United had a first bid, of course, rejected, but, looking into everything, it pretty much looks like hopefully it will go through. The player himself wants to sign as well. Now, I've just put a poll up on the live chat asking you guys, the viewers, if you think that Guehi is worth £65 million, which is round about what the next offer is supposedly going to be, with a few add-ons here and there. So get voting on that, whether you think he's worth that, because what I did see after the news video I did earlier on today was a lot of fans questioning the transfer fee, Sam, and saying that he's not really a £65 million player. We're overspending when there's other centre-backs across Europe who are probably, if not as good or better, for a much lesser price. But I did make the comeback saying, well, we may have already looked into those players and they're not available.
Yeah, it is an interesting one. And Alex made a really good point the other night to say there are other players available potentially at the same quality and standard. I think we sort of set a bit of a ceiling about how much we would be comfortable to sign him for. It's now over that mark for me. Is he worth it? I think yes. Would I want Newcastle United to pay it? Probably not. I think we've got time to look around the market. Shaw's still fantastic. I do think we need to get somebody in that role this season based on how long Eddie takes to develop and actually introduce to the squad. I can see obviously Shaw getting less minutes maybe next season, which would actually give it a good time to get somebody in right now. But for that price, that's a hell of a price tag. It was fantastic. Look at the performance in the Euros, arguably one of our strongest players for England. It would be a hell of a back lineup, but that is a lot of money. And does it take money out of the kitty for that valuable right winger that we so desperately need?
Yeah, I mean, Jake makes a very good point here. If Van Dijk was 75 million, how many years ago, then Guehi is worth 65 in today's market. It's a very good point. A lot of people are mentioning Chow, of course, saying that maybe he is a better option at around about £40 million is being banded around. James Ellison, thank you for your super chat. He says, I have a suggestion. Why don't all the fan forums unite and have a protest with a signed petition and hand it to the FA Premier League? Let's do something, make something happen, because we are losing our game. It's a good point. I think we need to stay away from protests right now, if I'm really honest.
Too soon?
Yeah, maybe. Keith Truscott, thank you for your super chat. Defo would have him think overpaying, though. Yeah, a lot of people are feeling that way. Kieran, thank you for your super chat. If he can do it for England when Southgate was in charge, surely he can do it better under Eddie Howe.
Oh, good point. That is a good point.
Yeah, exactly.
He can't do any worse.
C15 Rai says we are overpaying, but English tax, etc., and his character, I have no doubts. So I mean, look, it's a strange one, Alex, isn't it? Because it is a lot of money, and there is other centre backs out there. But I think we're getting an absolute quality player who's going to be at the club for years to come, and probably going to be partner in Sven Botman. I mean, I made the point in the news show, Alex, about the defence that we have now. That Eddie has so many options there. that we haven't had in the past. And when you look back at, and I mentioned when I was growing up, and even through the Keegan Entertainers days and things like that, we never had a really secure defence. But I think if we bring in Guehi, we've got some really, really good defenders at the club now. I mean, we already have technically, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, quick. Ban the Mancunian.
Don't ban him. Don't ban him.
Anyway, let's move on from that. Yeah, strongest defense we would have had in years, potentially. Is it still an overpay? I think it's massively an overpay. I think there are reasons for it, though. Obviously, there are players around Europe that you could pick up between probably 20 and 40.
Good point that Simon's making there as well. Of course, there's a 20% sell-on fee to Chelsea.
Yes, that has been, yeah, of course. There are players available. However, it is more of a gamble. And I think the club are having to be careful about gambles. We can't afford to bring in a player for 30-ish mil who's a risk and it doesn't work out. Transfers all carry risk. Are they going to adapt to the league? Are they going to be injured? Are they going to settle? Are they going to develop as you hope? Are they going to fit the system? Are they going to settle into the squad dynamic? All of the above. Are they going to listen to tactical instructions properly? There's so much that goes into it. So I think Guehi is more of a safe bet on that, in that you know it's going to tick more of those boxes and it's less risky. So they're valuing the cost. Is it an overpay? Yes, but it's more of a guarantee because we don't have the situations that Chelsea and Manchester United have right now where we can swing and miss. Maybe a bit, but not too often. Our gambles have to be, instead of an 80 million gamble on Anthony, the right winger, not working, our gamble is on 10 mil Osula. If we develop him, fantastic. If it doesn't work, we can probably sweep that under the rug. It's 10 mil. And we're kind of anticipating that Eddie Howe's coaching is going to develop this guy. So I think we're paying for the fact it's safer and it's risk averse. And it's just, yeah. Could we go and get a centre half for 25, 30 million pounds, euros? That would be fantastic. Absolutely. Is it more risky? Yes, it's riskier. So it's, I think that's why we're going in this direction. And you can't really argue with it. We can't swing and we can swing. We just can't miss. If we mess up one or two windows, that's it. It will take us years to catch back up because of all the financial rules that are in place. We've got to be so careful with it.
Do you know what, though? And I think, Billy, you agreeing with me on this one. I think we talked about it in the live morning show yesterday, was if we bring in Guehi and we pay this money, I don't mind as long as we still get the quality right winger in that we need.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a fantastic signing. The financials parts of it, I mean, I think it's slightly overpriced, but for what you're paying, you're buying a really, really top quality centre half. Comparing to Malik Chow, who can't get in the German side. He's played 3 or 4 times, didn't play in the Euros. And Martin Guehi did play in the Euros. And not only that, he's possibly the best centre half at the Euros. So, yeah,
I wouldn't say can't get in the Germany squad as a stick to beat him with. I think that's unfair.
No, I'm not the
saying
German
that. Centre halves are fantastic.
He's a better centre half than any of the German ones. Let me just say that. Martin Guehi.
Yeah, I think Guehi's better than Schlotterbeck and
I do, yeah,
and Rudiger.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a big statement, Billy. That's a big statement.
On his side
Rudiger's a fantastic player, but like Rudiger's 31, 32, like Sam says, they mentioned age.
Yeah.
If Rudiger was 24, then I'd be all over him like a cheap suit, but he's not. So
Tangy's just asking the question, about the risk of security get the Premier League games given the state of England at the moment. I don't think it's going to affect football. Fingers crossed. Let's just hope it doesn't, and let the authorities deal with that side of things, and we'll continue to love football, basically, because if anything can bring people together, it's football. So let's just hope that works. And as it says, keep the protests away from the Toon. Yep, absolutely. Nick says, as long as we can also bring in a quality right winger, Guehi is a brilliant addition. Now, speaking of right wingers, we are linked with one today, who incidentally is left-footed.
Don't get him to elaborate.
Look, I don't know what the fascination is with left footers, right? But clearly Eddie Howe enjoys the left footer, and he enjoys the inverted wingers. And I think he probably, let's be honest, the way it's going, he wants to continue going down that line, Alex.
Yes. It works really well in a team that wants to retain possession, work the opportunity. It gives you the option of using the overlaps and cutting inside as a winger. And we've started to use fullbacks who can do it on both sides. Obviously, we were a bit different when we had that funny back three in possession, with Dan Burn shifting into a back three and Trippier kind of being sort of bombing on past Miggy or Murphy. Whereas this season, if we're to get, obviously, we're still yet to really understand how we're going to line up in this new season, because Dan Burn's playing a lot and Lewis Hall's playing a lot. But Dan Burn's playing as a centre half. What happens if we sign Guehi? That's another show for further down the line. But there is a massive question mark over how that back four lines up. I know what you all want. Doesn't mean Eddie Howe's going to do that, though. So, anyway.
Well, it gives Eddie Howe options to play five at the back as well. Let's be honest. With
Yes,
Hall and Livermento's wing backs.
To be fair,
we'll cover that. We'll cover that in the season preview about how we think Eddie might go and what.
Well, I mean, Eddie Howe experimented with a five at the back with Tonali and Bruno as a double pivot in the not this preseason, the preseason before this, last year's preseason. We experimented with that. And then obviously we could never implement that because everybody got banned or injured. So we never got to play with a shiny new formation. Left footer, that's the whole point and why I'm talking. Yes, it will be interesting now that we've got more balanced fullbacks and we've got a bit more depth in those kinds of areas. Again, we couldn't, because again, Target was always injured and things like that. So I think having a competent left footer on that right hand side, we want something like what Miggy was doing when he was in his purple patch, sort of absolutely tearing it up, cutting inside. We don't need goals every single match, but we need a bit more of a threat. We need somebody just as dangerous on the right as Anthony Gordon is on the left. In an ideal world, that is a lot to ask for, because obviously Anthony Gordon is performing at one of the best in the league in his position. So we don't have a God-given right to just go and get one of the best in the league standard right wingers. We'd have to pay a lot. So we're going to have to be very careful about who we go and pull out. I think the general consensus is we're going to go for a slightly cheaper option, potentially somebody in Europe for somewhere between 25 and 40 million. That we can develop a bit, somebody that's maybe in that 21 to 24 age bracket. Because if we're going to put 65 into Mark Guehi, then we can't go and put 60 plus into a winger. It was well documented at the start of the window that we were in the Olise race. So we were willing to put big money in that position earlier on in the window, but we seem to have maybe shifted our focus depending on what the availability is. So we'll have to wait and see.
It seems we might have a Mackham in the chat mouthing off, but I haven't seen the comments yet. However, we've got over 2,000 watching now, which is round about what Sunderland get for the home games, incidentally. So there you go. Northumberland Rockhopper says, Miggy is going nowhere. He will be starting against Southampton. No, he won't. I'm sorry. There you go. Oh, do you know what? That's hilarious. I mean, honestly. That's all they've got. That's all they've got.
And the only way Miggy starts at Southampton is if somebody kidnaps Jacob Murphy. That's the only way that happens.
Or you will see a rather large 6'5" gentleman running up to Eddie Howe and asking why, in a very nice way, is Miggy starting. But I mean, honestly, somebody pillared me in the comments earlier on the news show for having a go at Miggy again. And I just wish they'd stop saying having a go or being disrespectful. All I'm saying is, it's time for Miggy to move on. Simple as that. But, you know, the happy clappers just... Ball Geordie says, evening TTR, who were those players you mentioned earlier? What positions do Dildo and A&L Beads play for? Do they play out from the rear? Yes. Very good. Very good at breaking out from the back. Billy knows all about it. Toon Talk says, did you see the dress code announcement for the stack? No.
There's a dress code announcement?
I haven't seen that. I was actually,
Alex?
I was going to try and go to the stack on Thursday morning to have a look at it and do a little vlog from there. But I mean, if it's not going to be shirt and tie, is it? Let's be honest. It's the stack. Sonny says, Alex raises great points here. I think I have changed my mind. Guehi for 60 million is logically a good move, all things considered. Dino's bouncing back at the Mackham, saying that 9 seasons in a row. Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. How many million euros have we spent so far in the transfer market? Well,
I don't know. Can we do it in pounds? Because that's what we pay in.
50 million quid, isn't it? Have we signed anyone else for it? Oh, yeah, hang on. What? 20 million on the keeper now.
Kelly, Hall, keepers.
By the way,
yeah,
Alex's screen's just
Hall
caught my
counts.
mind there. Look who's back in training and smiling.
Looks like a man who's about to depart, eh?
Yeah, he does look so unhappy.
Look at that
Newcastle
sad
United.
face.
Yeah, he can't. Mind you, it does look like a vampire's took a bite at his neck there. I mean, just zoom in again, Alex.
It's got some
He was in a hot country. I'm sure maybe there's mosquitoes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
his best mate's about to sign for us, hopefully. So maybe that'll help him.
Yeah, he's good mates with Guehi, isn't he? So
Can I just mention one thing about the centre halves? By the way, there's been reports, and I mentioned this the other day, that Palace are looking at Maxence Lacroix.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be triggered by this, Alex, but I'm.
Yeah, I did see that when he first posted it. That's funny.
Yeah,
Anyway.
we're just laughing at you, by the way.
Please don't ban this guy. It's really entertaining.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, we're laughing at you. That's how clever you are. You thick, cheesy, chip-eating fanny. Anyway, sorry, I was going.
Maxence Lacroix is who the Palace are rumoured to be looking at if they lose Mark Guehi. And my question is, why don't we just look at the replacement? Because it's going to be half the price. I know everybody always says this when somebody gets a player in. Why don't you look at who the replacement potentially is for that team? It's a lazy thing to say, so I apologise, but I think it's a valid point. There are people available on the market for a lot less, but again, they're not as safe purchases because they don't have that security like we talked about earlier. So
yeah,
it's frustrating because I would prefer look what we did with Botman. Botman was from the French league. He played for a good team in Lille who just won the title. He didn't have Premier League experience. I think it just depends, doesn't it? But yeah, it is what it is. If we get Guehi, it'd be a fantastic buy.
Shane says, could fan channels like yourselves reach out to other channels to see if the same sentiment is widespread about FFP, then poll the fans and set up a petition? I think generally from what I've seen from a couple of other fan channels, they feel exactly the same. They are fuming about this Manchester United situation. It's not just fan channels; it's fans all over the country, and it is just a load of bollocks. Anyway, let's look at the poll. Earlier on, asked you guys, is Guehi worth £65 million? Would anybody like to have a guess at what they've said?
83% say yes.
60% yes.
66% are yes.
Ooh.
And 34% say no, he's not worth 65 million. So very interesting. Yeah. Andy K, thank you for your super chat. Love this channel from Andy and Joe. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you're well. And Jens, thank you for your super chat. When did we last have an unhappy player? Well,
Ryan Fraser.
Dubs.
Dubravka. Anyway, let's move on. I see his point. Look, it is a very good atmosphere at Newcastle United, so let's just hope it stays that way. Over 2,100 watching now. Please do subscribe if you're new to the channel, of course. Welcome to all our new subscribers as well to the channel. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an upload or a live show like this one. We are live most nights every week, and we also cover Newcastle United news shows, live match commentaries as well of every game this season involving Newcastle United.
Can't folks vote as well, Paul?
Oh, yes. Well, do you know what, Sam? They can. And I had very strangely enough, I had an email from Anthony Cooper, who is part of the Football Content Awards organizers. He reached out just to let me know that there's 2 weeks left. That was yesterday. There's 2 weeks left, just under 2 weeks now, to vote in the Content Awards. So that link is pinned at the top of the description. Just go in, fill the details in as why you're voting for the Toon Review. And, of course, make sure you put us in the Best Club Content Creator - Premier League. That's Best Club Content Creator - Premier League. So there's just under 2 weeks of voting left, guys. We'd love to go back Alex would love to get drunk and leave me in the middle of a city again somewhere to be smashed into from a drunk driver. But we had a great time, and we'd love to go back and hopefully come back with a bit of a prize. But we will see. Jorgen, thank you for your super chat. Guehi can hit the ground running, low risk. That's a very good point, actually. Premier League proven. He wouldn't have to.
Is he at ceiling? 24, plenty of room for development, especially under Eddie. Exciting signing.
Yeah. Some people are asking what you're drinking, Alex. I believe it's another alcoholic-free beverage.
It's a non-alcoholic beer from LD because I'm trying to be healthy and good.
You do realise just because there's no alcohol in it, all the other shit that's still in the beer.
I appreciate that there is a little bit of sugar and some stuff in it, but it's better than the alcohol. So,
Stocktonian, thank you for your super chat. I think Mark is overpriced. Get Pedro Neto for Almiron.
No, that is a risk.
Yeah.
Shall we show Stocktonian the injury page?
Yeah, the injury page for Pedro Neto is not good, and kind of that would kind of push it over the line of being overpriced. James Morrison, thank you for your super chat. Sky saying Bobby Clark available for £12 million, still only 19. Just bring him home. Who would you rather have, Gruda, Rafinha, or Yilmaz?
Well, there were reports that Mitchell apparently wasn't even in Turkey from the other day, apparently.
Yeah, I did see
so
that.
apparently that was a rumor. This is why we don't tend to deal with rumors. We just try and talk about what's in the news.
Indeed. Michael McIntyre, thank you for your super chat. Much appreciated. And there you go. There is... Now,
this is Pedro Neto's injury record for people who like Pedro Neto.
And the kind of money that Wolves are asking for him when he's got an injury record like that, it's a little bit stinky.
He missed 52 games in a row in 2020-21. That's enormous. That's more than a season worth of games.
Yeah. It ain't
madness.
Great. It ain't great. It's
too
a
risky
lot of
for the
money.
price.
Absolutely. Now, Keith Downey has just recently confirmed, since we've been on air, that William Osula is a Newcastle United player. We're just waiting for the official club announcement, of course. I don't know whether you're aware, Billy, but Matt Ritchie signed for Portsmouth, mate.
Oh, that's good. Good news. Good move for him because he's a fan, isn't he? A Portsmouth fan.
Literally hours after I'd done the news show, saying that he was looking more than likely going to Bournemouth.
Good signing for Portsmouth.
I'm pleased for Matt Ritchie, though, because it's where he wanted to go. My Smeagol, thank you for your super chat. There's no obvious right winger to go for. Guehi is a solid centre back. No obvious right winger. Hello.
Hello. I mean, hello.
Don't say it.
Yes, hello. My name is Kubo. Ha, sayonara. Go and get him. Come on. Let's bring Kubo to the Toon. Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness, this show.
You love it, Sam. That's why you signed up for it, because you love it. There's no other channel like it. You know that.
Oh my goodness, yes. I do. That's why I stay.
You've just done a Japan tour and you go and do that. Oh my God.
No, I've just been respectful to Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You just built a bridge and then left a match on it as you've walked off the other side of it, basically.
Is the River Kwai in Japan? It's not, is it?
No, it's not, Billy. Let's move on. Anyway, William Osula is a Newcastle player. Just waiting for that announcement. Now, obviously, when this first came around, it didn't really get a lot of excitement. However, what I would say is, since time has passed and people are getting more used to the idea, there's a lot of people come round to it. My Smeagol, thank you for another super chat, saying, now I just feel silly. Please don't. So, yeah, I mean, they are coming round to it a bit more, Billy.
Well, yeah, because he's obviously, for the price, he's got quite a big ceiling, as we like potential. And we need a third striker. It's as simple as that. And 15 million quid, yeah, it's nothing in this day and age. So, yeah. I think people are looking at it from the big picture instead of the small picture for a change.
Tony's asking if any Mackhams are subscribers to the channel. Well, we do have one that we know about, the Mackham Cabby. He was a really great guy, unlike the twat that's in the chat tonight. Sam, Osula, third choice striker. It's a big opportunity for the kid himself as well, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. I think it's a shrewd signing. It's got Paul Mitchell written all over it. Somebody with a high development ceiling, decent age, and it's low risk because of the price. We all know the situation with our strikers. I personally feel that we do need a third striker, so it's quite comforting that we've got that option for rotation now. And I'm sure that there's plenty of development opportunities under Isak and Wilson. So yeah, great. Really happy for the lad.
Yeah. Ash says, I'm doing a YouTube show for a sports betting company I work for. Any advice? It's my first YouTube show. Ash, send me an email. The email address is somewhere in the middle of the description. Send us an email. Tell us what you'll be doing, and I'll drop you an email back, and we'll help you out. So just drop me an email, and we'll get back to you with some advice for you. Super chat from Keith Truscott says, if we end up with another season with Feck and Miggy in the team, I'm going to lose me shit. Maybe you can go to Scumberland. Yeah, I think he done. Yeah, I understand that, to be honest. Captain Keith Hart says, Mitchell, Nixon, etc. No Newcastle player when they see him, I reckon. Yeah, I'm not worried about them spotting players. I've got a real eye for players. But Osula, Alex, I mean, where do you stand with him?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic signing.
Yeah,
I've just got this up because Kev did a thread. I have read through it. It's very similar to the Sanjay thread.
Yeah,
so
it is. Yeah,
apologies, Kev. But I guess that they're just good analysts looking at the same data. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fantastic signing. He profiles really, really well to kind of what we like with Isak. Sorry, Billy's watching the Olympics. He profiles very similarly to Isak in his height, physicality, even his movement style looks quite similar. To be fair, his little runs, he can do his little step overs, left-footed shot, right-footed shot. He's got all the raw attributes.
Billy, will you stop sounding like Mr. Ed, for God's sake? It's like we've got a horse on the channel.
Some American who looks like Conor Gallagher's just beat Josh Kerr to the gold medal. That's
well, shit happens. Let's, Alex.
But yeah, he's a good transfer. He is a very, very good transfer because not a lot of people are willing to take a bet on him. I think it's very unfair, some of the criticism he's received. A lot of his data comes from him having very late substitute appearances in the worst team in the league. Yeah. Is he raw? Is he raw? Absolutely. His first touch isn't great. He needs to develop. His link-up play needs to get better. However, he's got all the right ingredients in the same way that Anthony Gordon had all the right ingredients. Is this a guaranteed sort of success? No, absolutely not. But the club are taking a gamble on the fact that we can develop this kid. I think it is quite dependent on injuries potentially to other people, because I don't think we'd loan him out. I don't think there's any point in buying him to loan him straight away. So if he's going to get minutes, it's going to be substitution appearances, but I think he'll grow a lot in the training as well. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what he can offer. I think he will surprise a few people.
I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think he'll probably get some action this weekend in the Sela Cup. Incidentally, Newcastle Council did release a statement regarding the Sela Cup and saying that everything is still going ahead as normal, but be aware of your surroundings, stick with people that you know, etc., and just make your way to the game, come away from the game, go home, etc., which you kind of expect. But at least some people are aware of it, and they're giving the advice to the fans, because I think there is genuine worry amongst the families that are travelling up from all parts of the UK anyway, just for the weekend.
Absolutely, and I think it's a bit of a travesty, because these Sela Cup weekends are an opportunity for lower income families to get the chance to go to St James's Park and see the favourite players. So that to be disrupted with what's happening across the UK. Obviously, we don't want to get involved in politics or anything like that, but it is a real shame for the families who are going, and the fact that people need to think about their own safety when they want to have a nice day out with the friends and taking the kids out for the day. It's really disappointing that it's actually putting a bit of a cloud over it, but the club are communicating safety advice. They're working closely with the council and the police force, so just everybody stay safe and have a great day.
Indeed. Now, Newcastle ladies, of course, who have made some fantastic signings this summer. It was announced by Sunderland that the derby away at Sunderland will be played at the Stadium of Shite. I mean, like, I keep making that mistake, you know. I did it earlier on.
So easy to do, though, right?
It's very, it just slips off the tongue, Sam, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's great. And then when Newcastle United put their fixture list up, their home game against Sunderland is put down as St James's Park. Now, I believe that the away game is happening on an international weekend, which says to me that there could be an almighty crowd for the away game. I think St James's Park will be packed as well.
Absolutely.
But there's the two at St James's so far this season. It'll be Southampton in November and March, of course, against the Mackhams. I think it'll be a massive crowd at St James's Park against Sunderland. But the fact that it's an international weekend for the away game, Sam, I'm not sure about the home game, but it could be a bumper crowd again.
Absolutely. And what we need to consider is that we are a promoted side now for the women's team, and we're in that championship now. You know, the Women's Super League is literally in touching distance of where we are. We've strengthened incredibly, not just for the upcoming season, but actually the year before also, when we have retained some of those star players that we saw bring through and contribute to the team under Becky's leadership. So it's going to be really, really fantastic season. It is a very difficult league. Sunderland are absolutely one of the tops, narrowly missing out on actually promotion themselves. Also,
until we arrive in the championship.
I feel really positive about it, and there's such a great atmosphere at the games. They've also released their season ticket prices as well.
54 quid, I think I saw. Is that right?
Absolutely, that's for adults. The kids' tickets are even cheaper. So again, this is going to be fantastic for getting even more fans to follow the women's game, but actually follow Newcastle as well. It's making it very, very accessible for everybody in a great, safe atmosphere as well. So. Yeah. All for it as well.
By the way, we are joined again by the great Alain St. Maximin in the chat, who says they call it the Stadium of Light, but nothing bright happens there.
I love that he's updated his profile picture as well to the new shirt.
Yes, he has. Hey, it might be him. We don't know. It might be him because people have maybe put him onto the fact that you are a love god of St. Maximin, and
everybody loves the dribbly boy.
I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, the only
Trevor Sanusi is got to pick up the torch. I'm afraid somebody's got to do it.
I mean, the only time I start dribbling is when I'm asleep, or I look at Susan. Anyway, Isak first touch is horrendous. Imagine how many more goals he will score when his first touch improves.
That's pretty harsh.
I do get it a little bit.
Occasionally it is.
Yeah, there was a few times last year that his first touch was, but I'm expecting Maxi just to get better. Not Maxi, Isak. What the hell? You put a voodoo doll on me. Oh my God.
I think Isak will be better because we've got Osula. We've got an extra striker to rotate.
Yeah,
because last year, how many times did we have that conversation? Me and Billy specifically were saying, why didn't he just bring Ben Parkinson on to run around for 5 minutes and press when Isak? There were games last year when a couple of our players couldn't physically jog anymore. They were gone. They were just done. They just got cramped. They couldn't even jog. And at that point, why don't you just bring on a child to run around and press for 5 minutes? What's the harm? But now we've got Will Osula, who's 21 and a bit more physical and is a presser. We can now do that. If we're 2-0, 3-0 up, just bring on Osula for half an hour. Makes no difference.
Yeah. Where was that comment I was going to read out there? Oh, yes. Mike says, any word about the Newcastle app? Nothing yet. I think we're just waiting for it to be released. I think I don't think there's going to be any rigmarole that just come out and say that there's an app now available across iOS and Android. I don't think there's going to be a big rigmarole about it. It's an app at the end of the day. But hopefully, I mean, I think they tried having an app a few years back and it was dreadful. So hopefully this one is going to be much, much better. But we will see. But that is it for the show tonight, guys. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. Still over 2,000 watching across both platforms, which is incredible. Thank you very much for watching. Please do hit the like button on your way out if you haven't done so already. It really, really does help the channel. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so yet, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload or a live show. Ruffiad Benisian's come in with a late super chat there. Who would you have, Gonzalez, Madueke, or Marlon? Quickly answer that, guys.
Possibly Gonzalez, but it's a close one.
I'll take Marlon.
I like Marlon as well. Oh, interesting. But thank you for all your super chats, memberships, etc. Thank you to yes. Who put Alex? I've already done the.
I just put it up there for everybody to look at. It's fine.
Yeah, it's pinned at the top of the description, guys. Go and vote for us, please. Anyway, thank you to Alex and Sam, and for Billy's part-time appearance again. We really do appreciate it. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening, guys, and we will see you once again tomorrow. But in the meantime, good night.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check out some green.